Welcome back to this episode of Rob's Restoration Garage. It's cold out here. I looked at the temperature over there, it's 53. I know I've lived in the South too long when 53 feels cold, but I put my little space heater on over there that I pulled out of our pop-up camper that we recently sold, and so hopefully that's going to help take the chill off the air. I'm continuing to work on the body of this 1965 MG Midget. If you haven't been following along, you can go back and watch all the episodes to see how I got to this point. Right now I've been working on body filler and sanding, and I've been using the Eastwood Dustless Sander system, and man, I'll tell you, I don't have a lot to compare it to, but it does a great job. There's not a lot of dust in the air. I just sanded what I put on last weekend, and I'm gonna wipe it all down and hopefully allow it to warm up it a little bit in here so I can apply another coat to some of the low spots here and in other areas as well. So follow along with me. The hood that I have on there right now, or the bonnet, if we were in England, is not the original one. I found this, I bought it, I think for 40 bucks, if I go back and remember, from a lady way out in the middle of Pickens County, which is, there's not a lot out there. I did have the sandblasters go ahead and clean off the original hood. And you can see, this is kind of what it exposes. There was no rust repair in there other than a lot of body filler. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this thing yet. I was thinking I might paint it and hang it in the garage, make a sign out of it or something like that. It would be cool just to put it on the wall, but we'll see. That'll be later. This spot on the wing is a good place to kind of show you what happens as you sand. So I've put a coat on here, and as I'm sanding it, usually I'm going like this and going like this, crisscrossing. What ends up happening is now right here you can see it's sanding down to bare metal here and here, and it's sanding down in bare metal here. So this is a low spot then of what's happening, and you can start to see it. So if you feel it, it feels smooth, but if you put a straight edge on it, which I have right here, it's hard because this has a crown to it, but if I look here, what I'm trying to make sure is that there's no gap in this. So let me show you, hopefully I can show you what I mean. Let's see. So if you look here, there's a little bit of a gap right here by where my thumb is. If I go down further, that gap goes away. So I've got a little bit of a low spot right there. But I want to just put a little skim coat there. It's gone. Now it's not. So I want to put a little bit of a skim coat on that. And the other thing that I'm trying to fix is this. And again, I can bolt it all in and have it line up, but as soon as I connect it at the valance, it pulls this part in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some filler in right here so that this outer sill and the wing match up so that they're at the same level and not drawn in a little bit. I could probably put something in where it bolts through, a washer or something that would not allow it to draw in so far, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and fill that and get it to the same line. You're gonna see the same thing with this door. So if you would have looked at the door originally, you wouldn't have necessarily have seen it, but you can see here, I've got a low spot, a high spot right here, where when I'm sanding them now down to bare metal, but I'm not over here. So again, if I start to look, remember, it has a crown this way. So I can't really put a straight edge on it here because it's designed to have, it's not this complete flat door, but it should be the same all the way across. And when you see it, it's not. So what I want to do is fill in this low spot so that when it's all sanded, you don't see it or feel it. And I can actually feel this low spot. It's probably where the door's been dented in at some point in time. And so I want to fill it in and make it all straight. I've been working on this door for a little bit, and I thought it would be good to show you kind of what I'm learning as I go along. So I've been sanding this, trying to get it flat. And if I put a straight edge on it, you can see that's pretty good right there. If I keep moving down, and I get to the point here where you see I've got a little bit of a high spot. So I need to sand that to get it flat. It's still kind of a high spot. Then when I get down here, that's actually pretty good. But if I move all the way down, hopefully you can see that right here. You've got this big gap. It's really evident right there. You got this big gap that means that it's dipped in. And so I'm gonna wanna fill that in. See, it's still. So when I put the next part of the filler, and when it gets about right there, then it's good. So this spot right in here, I'm gonna wanna add filler to it just from like here down. And I need to take some of this off. But this, using a ruler or straight edge as a kind of your guide, helps you get things that you wouldn't necessarily see just with your eye. I've put another thin layer you kind of see lower on the door because that's where the gap was. And so now that that's dried and cured, I'm gonna take my sanding block and try to smooth that out, feather it out, and then check it again with the straight edge. So I sanded this off to try to get it flat all the way through, and using my straight edge, I've kind of gotten rid of that little high spot. It was up here. And then what I tried is I bought some guide coat from Eastwood. It's one of the other things I bought. And I really just kind of misted it on there. You can see some all the way up in here. And then I went through with the block sander. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going like this. And I'm not pressing on it hardly at all. Well, obviously the vacuum would be running at this point. And I'm going this way, crisscrossing it. And what you see is this, I didn't even barely touch the guide coat right there. So this would be a low spot. I can check it if I put the straight edge on there. There's no gap up here, but when I get down here, there's a little bit of a gap. So this is good because this helps me see where, if I put another coat, very thin coat, I'm gonna put it right like this to cover that low spot. So what I'm gonna do at this point is wipe it all down and mix up another thin coat and cover it right over the top. of where that guide coat's showing. Coat. Over the top of that. I'm gonna let that set up. Okay, so I've sanded all that down, and I actually really like where it ended up. Hopefully you can see, it is very straight, no real gaps. This is obviously going to get sanded even further with probably up to 320 grit sandpaper, because obviously you want to get rid of all the little fine scratches and all that. I saw there's a little bit of a little dimple right there, but that can get with glazing putty or something like that. But I'm going to leave this door where it's at this point and move on to some other spots. Basically doing the same process. So this isn't a real long video, but I'm going to end it for right now. Check back on the next video as I move into some other spots and what that's going to ultimately look like, and the things that I learn as I go through all that. So thanks for watching, and hope you stay with me through the whole process.